Hey everybody, we're here for a new episode of the RLG cast. It's been a while, but we're back because why? We have stuff to talk about. All the strikes seem to be over. Is there going to be any more strikes? Maybe the animators might go on strike.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. Putty, how have you been lately?
We're talking about me. I finally happy with the writer actor strike being done. I can now go back to work. I have no, yeah. I outside of we all know what the major movie for Marvel is coming out next year. So what else do you want to
We
speak
do,
about?
Madam Web. JD,
Mhm.
what's going on with you?
What's going on with me? Wrestling, lots of wrestling. Wrestling year is coming to an end, guys.
Wrestling year's coming to an end.
Wrestle
Check out
Kingdom,
that stuff.
Wrestle Kingdom in just over a month.
Probably going to be the best thing of all time. That's not of all time, but of all
Mhm.
time. Yeah, so check out his videos and check out Putty's stuff. Putty, what are you doing lately?
Christmas. It's just all Christmas stuff.
He's doing a lot of Christmas stuff. He
It's
may or may
24 days
not
of
dress
Christmas.
up as the Grinch,
No,
Santa Claus, Santa Pool,
Krampus.
Krampus.
Oh, I am doing
reindeer.
24 days of Christmas, so I'm literally streaming every single day up until Christmas Eve.
Okay,
There
that's
you go.
what I'm talking about. Let's get that done because it's about time. Putty hasn't streamed, guys, if you don't know, for at least 4.5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I was not expecting you to agree with me. Okay. We're gonna start this off with rumor talk. Okay, there's a lot of stuff here, so we're just gonna try to get through it fast. Daphne Keane will reportedly reprise her role as X-23 in Deadpool 3.
I saw that and I'm very happy.
Makes no sense to me. Don't
Nope.
understand it. I'm not upset by it.
I
don't
thought they were
understand
not
it.
going to kill the continuity of Logan, and this is
It's
killing the
not-
continuity of Logan.
So apparently it's going to be separate from Logan. It's still going to separate. She's just going to be a different version of X-23 from a different timeline.
I still
So
don't know why they're doing it.
Well,
I'll
I
take
mean-
it. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
But I don't know
I still think what they're doing is they're just saying, listen, we're gonna pluck at things and see what works. And if the fans
Marvel
get
writing.
excited
Let's throw
about it,
something at a wall, and if it sticks, let's run with
that's
it.
pretty much what they're doing. Yeah.
That kind of goes hand in hand with the next rumor that halfway into the movie, they're going to remove Ryan Reynolds for the new actor that they want to play Deadpool.
Nah, that I didn't know.
That has
about.
not been named yet. Apparently he'll be from another universe.
Well, you know what? He's gonna be very, very scrutinized, and hopefully he does a good job.
I made that up. I see how your opinion changed when I talked about Deadpool. So we're moving on.
Ryan Reynolds does own
yeah,
Alpine, or at least part of it, from the
Listen.
Formula One team.
Yes, he does. But listen, you can't not have Ryan Reynolds, stupid Marvel.
But it is Marvel.
Putty was thinking that too. He's like, how could you do that? Because I'm thinking you can't. How could you not have Ryan Reynolds?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say something that I literally would go into a ridiculous situation like, oh, you're just.
But admit it, you can't not have Ryan Reynolds as
Oh yeah,
Deadpool.
oh yeah. I mean, the only way
That's his pet project.
Well, here's the thing. The only way, if he ever stops it, you need to get genuinely somebody that can do Deadpool right, but also can do Deadpool differently. Add a little bit of the narrator situation. Maybe can change and alter that kind of design and do it properly and make it funny. Because Ryan Reynolds, I noticed he's really good at Deadpool, but there's a few things I think he realizes he can't really pull off properly, which is like the narrator or like the word balloons and using that as an added effect. It would be hard in theaters, but I feel like since they were able to translate that with Nolan North in the video game, that someone like Nolan North could possibly even do that in the movie world. And I just don't feel Ryan Reynolds has it. But that's not saying anything bad about Ryan Reynolds. He's just perfect for this version of Deadpool. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think if I were to move on from Deadpool, I don't think I'd do any more Deadpool. I think I'd probably make like an animated series like they should have done and have Ryan Reynolds just voice it.
Well, yeah. Well, no, what my thing is this. If they ever do another Deadpool, my thing is it's going to be the same. Another Deadpool. This is something years down the road, like the whole Wolverine thing. Like if you recast Hugh Jackman right away, it's gonna cause storms. You got to take some time, let people get used to not him being around. And I feel it's the same with Ryan Reynolds. That's why I feel like they might not bring Wolverine. I think we're gonna get the core X-Men when they reboot it, and they're gonna go back to that traditional old fashioned because it's kind of like the Fantastic Four thing. Why not go back and make this just like the comic books and go back to that origin story the way it did without having Wolverine in that story? Because
But Campo, you might be onto something with that. Not replace Ryan Reynolds, but what if they replace Hugh Jackman with the new Wolverine actor?
I don't like that I made a good thing out of that. I don't want anyone else. I'm
No,
sorry.
obviously, but I
Like,
mean,
But that's
they
but that's
they
why
really
they
had
have
to.
Johnson was a good choice. Now he's playing Craven, so he's not happening. Daniel Radcliffe. There was one other guy that everyone really liked,
The
and I
guy from
can't think of
Kingsman there.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I
Oh
like
yeah,
him.
the one that played the Elton John.
Yeah.
Eggy,
Yeah.
Eggy,
Taron Egerton.
Yeah, but he was Eggy in that show. Anyways,
Eggy.
yeah, I mean, yeah, whatever. But like, the difference is Wolverine is like not just a mainstream character. Wolverine is like across the board top 3 most popular Marvel characters. Period. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of have to drag that out. With Deadpool, he's super niche, and I feel like I'd rather have the character die than have it move on to like something bad. Does that make sense? Like, because you don't need Deadpool to do anything in the Marvel universe. So why have it be a bad? Why make the character bad to continue it?
Well, no, but that's the thing. That's the whole situation, and the whole place is with Deadpool. If you're going to do it, you basically you don't hire an actor to play Deadpool. You find a person that is already Deadpool as an actor. I know that's where the way I said that, but Ryan Reynolds, he already, based on movies like Van Wilder and everything, had that Deadpool, niche to him already. He already had that personality.
Well,
Green Lantern was a great example of that.
But he was good. I thought he was a good Hal. He would have been a better Flash.
Yeah.
The thing with what you're saying, Putty, that like I get it, but I don't know if it worked like that. I don't feel like Marvel was poking around or Fox and they were like, oh, look, Ryan Reynolds. I think Ryan Reynolds kept bringing it to them until they were like, okay, fine, we'll make the movie.
Well, that's my whole point, though, because he was passionate and he would fit that character. I feel like down the road, that's what's going to end up happening is that someone else is going to come along and love the character so much as an actor that he's going to want to play the character, and he will do a good job because he's so passionate about it.
I will take it.
That's when I think they will come in and they say, okay, you can be the new Deadpool.
Yeah.
It works.
I'll allow it even because I know how much you like Deadpool and I don't want to be sitting here trying to act like I'm being negative. If they want to do more and they're going to do it right for the fans like you, fine. But for me, I think Ryan Reynolds is really good. I think they should leave it alone if they move past him. And the reasoning behind it is he's just not that popular and his storylines don't mean anything to the greater MCU generally to that it's worth doing it badly.
Well, I'll put it.
I mean, you can always have him show up in a cameo if they do like, even if years down the road they do like an X-Force movie or something. You know what I mean?
But like, you need X-Men. You need Fantastic Four as sucky as they are.
But let me give you an example. Here's the thing. With Batman, let's use Batman and Superman. These are the really main characters. Now, yes, Wolverine is as well, but what makes Wolverine work so well is he could have his own standalone movie. And it would work fine, but he came from a whole group. The X-Men, you know what I mean? The X-Men are what are major. You need the X-Men. If you think about all those X-Men movies,
but the origin of Wolverine, he was never original.
He was solo.
He was solo. He never was. He joined the X-Men later on.
Well, I know, but the thing is, that was through other comics, still through Hulk and all that kind of stuff. What I'm referring to is more generally in line with the whole, I guess, mutants in general, because mutants, if you ever looked at Marvel in general and thought about it that way, it was always a situation where like we have the Avengers and we have X-Men. Okay, X-Men and mutants in general were just their own sublet that works with the other characters because they use mutants as another species compared to everything else where they got their powers through spider-bite or, and it was such a different world in that way that when you take mutants, I feel like it's very different than looking at something as far as like Thor that could be replaced just like Batman or Superman. It's a very different environment. You're looking at something like this is comparatively to other stories where like Teen Titans, things of that nature, you know what I mean? Where they're more grounded on a whole body of characters that started that way because they were based on more group. Fantastic Four is a prime example. I feel like Fantastic Four is a prime example. You really can't have solo movies, even though there's great characters and you need Reed Richards in the storyline, but it's more grounded thing. But the
what does it
problem
have to do with Deadpool?
Well, my point to what I'm pointing to in this is where we're talking about Wolverine everything. Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking. It was going to.
No.
That's what I was like, I don't understand. Okay, go continue.
Yeah, what I'm leading to is this. I know they need to come in and bring another Wolverine because he's very popular, but I feel like it's the same situation with Deadpool, where yeah, you need it, but you need to give it time. And the reason is because they can go and take the other mutants and make a new X-Men movie without Wolverine, and then bring them into a solo adventure, and that would give it time for them to get used to not
They
having.
did do a great X-Men movie without Wolverine. It's called First Class.
Well, exactly. That's my whole point, though. I feel like that's their best option, is to give Wolverine time to rest and then bring it out and find somebody that can pull off the role that is more organic, kind of like Ryan Reynolds in that way. Because the thing is when you look at Batman, Batman, you have a cowl on, so it's more based on Bruce Wayne and then how he wears that mask. In some ways, it's also kind of like with Superman. Even though he doesn't wear a mask, it's a matter of how he looks with the glasses and without glasses. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
And glasses when he's Clark Kent.
Wolverine, what makes Wolverine so great as well is he can be him without having to have a particular look to him. You know what I mean? When he's not using the yellow or brown or the blue and yellow, or even the Weapon X gray and black, these are all.
No, he needs the costume with the whiskers.
Yeah. But in fairness to what you're saying, I'm not disagreeing with you at all, because I get what you mean generally, but I don't think it necessarily applies. And a big thing is that goes with what you're saying is Wolverine isn't like a superhero. He doesn't have a secret identity. He just is. He doesn't try to hide. He's just, but most of the X-Men are like that, right? They're not like, oh, I'm Cyclops, I'm not this guy. They're like, yeah, this is who I am.
But see, Wolverine's much different. He's the anti-hero. He's like the Venom situation.
But that's because they needed that, right? But like, if you look at it, and this was only helping your point. If you look at the Wolverine storylines, the best Wolverine storylines are his solo things, except for maybe Days of Future Past. And it's like, so I get what you're saying, but like at the same time, popularity wise, you need Wolverine to sell. That's what people want to see. As much as we think that we would watch it without him, I think if you didn't have him, we'd kind of be like, the reason First Class works is because First Class is about stuff we've never seen. So it was kind of like a Guardians of the Galaxy situation where it
took a lot of that out of Bendis's run on All New X-Men.
Yeah, right. And I think that works. I think that's a solid way to do it. I don't know how they're going to do this right now, and obviously they're going to recast Hugh Jackman. We know that.
Well, yeah, but it's just I think
everybody's getting recast.
The problem is Wolverine, because it's kind of like the Iron Man syndrome. Robert Downey Jr. did that part so well, just like Hugh Jackman, that it's going to take time. Because like everyone said the same thing about Christopher Reeves and even the Jokers, but it's like those you can very change and very dramatically give it a different version of it, because there's so many different versions of it. You get what I'm saying? There's so many different versions of Joker in the comic books. Wolverine has been basically the same
exact character all the way.
Exactly. So when you take
that makes sense.
And when you go to someone like Hugh Jackman, he molded that character the same way in his own way. Now, when we go somewhere else and we get that gruff, like I want the short, gruff version of him.
So wait, I have a question for you. I want to stay kind of on this, but you just made me think about it. So like characters that haven't really changed and that have changed. So like Deadpool's basically been the same. Would you be willing to take a movie or show or any property where they made the circle chase version of Deadpool, where he's not a comedian at all?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Where he's like just an assassin.
See, here's the difference between, you have to catch one thing. The catch-22 with Deadpool is that he has so many variants, like Deadpool Corpse, that you can kind of maybe take him out of his niche characteristics and go back to that original New Mutants way. You know what I mean? This goes back to why the Wolverine thing doesn't work, is because even from the beginning to now, he may have grown a heart, but he still has that badassery that he has in him, as far as being, that gruff, don't get in my face, I'll kick your ass bar attitude that we've all grown to love. And it's kind of like Spider-Man and Peter Parker. You want all those iterations. You want the nerdy, the photographer, genius. Like these are characteristics you have to have. With Peter Parker, I feel it's very easy to cast that, because it's something that a lot of us are as a human being. Being that gruff, you really have to be selective, because they have to have the mannerisms, the bub, the gruff interior. And yeah, there's actors that can do it, because even I think what's his name that played Eddie Brock, what's his name? They were saying
Tom Hardy.
Could be a good Yeah, Tom Hardy. They were saying he could be a good Wolverine. But the problem is now we've gotten Hugh Jackman that's literally set the bar on this situation to where it's a different scenario. And it's like the Christopher Reeve thing. We have to give it time. Look how long it took before we got a new Superman, because everyone's like, Christopher Reeve's #1. Don't change that. You know what I mean? And it took some time for us to get used to that. Because think about
I mean, Brandon Routh did a good job. It's just they weren't ready to accept it yet.
But that's my point.
Did a good job being Christopher Reeve.
But that's my whole point, though. See, people accept it.
I think that's what they wanted, right? Because it's supposed to be a sequel to part 2.
Because yeah, but see, the thing is that movie did not do well, and I would be afraid that in the Marvel situation it could be the same thing. Even though it's not a bad movie, people just couldn't.
I don't know. I don't think Superman Returns did poorly. Did it?
Yeah, it did.
It did.
Did it?
Yeah,
technically, it was considered a flop. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm afraid of with the Wolverine casting. They needed to give it time, and they need to do it properly. Because people will latch on to that character so much. And I mean, what's his name that played Lex Luthor in that movie? Freaking amazing. Even though he's
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, even though what he did in real life is horrible, he was really great. You know what I mean? That movie was great, but there were so many flaws.
It made like 90 million.
Yeah. I mean, the point that's where I'm seeing Wolverine. He's in that Christopher Reeves, Hugh Jackman element now, to where we need to give it time. We need to let it breathe and let it come in later. And I feel like if they did that,
they're not bringing in the X-Men for a long time. If what they're saying is true, so.
It'll be at least 29, right?
No, not 2029. I think it's like 2028 or 7.
Yeah, but even then,
well, 7 is Kang Dynasty, right? That's the last Kang, or Secret Wars is 2027.
I don't know. Listen, let's not talk about this. We're moving on. This is a serious show where we do serious things.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel Studios is reportedly planning to rework the Nova as a character into as a movie.
Okay.
Do we care?
I like Nova. I don't think it'll work as a movie.
I like Nova in Ultimate Spider-Man, the show.
A Nova series, like a Nova Corps series, might work,
but that would be Nova Corps, which is more than just him.
I know, but I mean that would work as a series. But I don't think Nova is not a character that is super popular or well known.
Nova was like one of those characters that I'm trying to think of some other characters that was always, I saw him appear in this other comic. That's why I'm familiar with him. It's like what's his name? Black, the Night Guy. Black was that made the final appearance in Eternals, I think it was.
Oh, Black Knight.
Yeah,
is that what it is, right?
Dane Killington or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Those are the niche characters that I only saw them because of other characters throughout the the movies and everything. And that's not movies, but throughout the other comics, because that was what made Marvel great. They would have really small characters they try to push and make their own comics, and they just didn't, for me at least. I mean, maybe for other people, they weren't that popular. So you were just more like, oh, it works when it's with this character as a team up. Like I could never see Cable by himself, even though I love Cable. You know what I mean? It's just it fits with Deadpool or X-Force. It's never really something by himself.
The only way I think maybe a Nova character would work as a movie is if you introduce him in something else, and if the reception is good, then run with it.
Exactly. Yep.
Because I always thought Nathan Fillion would play a good Nova.
All right, next thing.
Next order of business.
Superman.
Cast is getting a little too bloated for me.
No, I'm okay with it. Underwear or no underwear?
No underwear.
You know what I mean?
No underwear.
Underwear?
I like the Man of Steel suit.
I like the Man of Steel suit too, but I think do you have a problem with the underwear?
No.
I'm kind of in between where it doesn't matter either way for me.
I don't think I care either way either, but I also don't have a problem with it. I find that people who have a problem with it really makes me weirded out that there's such an issue for them. Like, who cares?
Okay, see, the underwear is not the big deal. The big deal to me is you got to have the belt, you got to have the boots, the insignia, and the cape, and then blue. Anything else you do that's added or take it off, as long as it's not overabundance and it still has all those iconic parts, that's fine. You know what I mean? Even with the boots, if they change a little bit of the trim or something like that, I'm not going to notice something like that. You know what I mean? Like mainly it's this.
The main suit has to be blue. The boots have to be red and yellow trim everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I need.
An S on the chest, S on the back of the cape, and the belts.
Hell, you can even
belt,
leave the
maybe.
cape blank.
Yeah, I can see that too.
You could leave the cape blank. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah. You
blank
don't need an
red.
S on the cape. I don't need that. I think that's silly goose stuff.
Well, I don't mind if it is either way, but yeah.
So Aquaman comes out really soon.
Is it
I
though?
gotta get my ticket.
Is it though?
I think so. Actually, they don't know. I heard that a lot of theater owners, like the chains, are worried about what's going to happen this holiday season because there's a chance that they might push it back again. And
Yeah, that's what I
there's gonna
heard.
be
I heard
no
March.
big blockbuster. There's going to be no blockbuster for Christmas.
Well, let me actually.
Napoleon
I was
is the only Christmas.
It's not a blockbuster.
Well, I
There's
was
a meme I
actually.
saw the other day. If Napoleon in this movie, it is historically inaccurate if he doesn't go and eat ice cream and go down a water slide and try to
Yeah.
take over.
Well, I'll tell you this. It's usually set in stone whenever the tickets are available for me, and I actually was good plan on checking sometime this weekend. So I'm gonna actually see if there actually is like set in stone now, which usually they have the tickets available.
Well, it is right now. It is a definitive release date of December 22nd for Aquaman. But I feel
yeah,
this
they
is
got
going to be
advance tickets
one train wreck of a movie.
probably. Which I'm getting my ticket now.
It's going to be, I think, reshoots and everything are going to kill this because it's going to be so discombobulated. It's going to be like a fan four stick.
Oh, this is not good.
You think
So
think it's going to stick? Fan 4 stick?
So usually when they do releases of any comic book movie, they'll do like a lot of showings in my theater because they're like, oh, we're gonna put this in multiple theaters, and they do they do 3D. I like to do 3D movies after I get off
All
work
three
and
of them,
everything.
all three theater screens.
Well, it's kind of like that. They're doing one 3D showing on the opening night, and then 3 regular standard formats that opening night, and usually they have like 6 to 8 showings for just at least the standard and the 3D like 5. So I mean, I'm gonna get my ticket now, but that's not good.
Yeah,
sign.
but on a Thursday night, nobody really goes.
No, but I'm saying my end. They always put a lot of theaters.
I'm going to say it right now.
No,
my
I get what you're
prediction,
saying.
my prediction is this is going to have an even lower opening weekend than the Marvels.
I might be right. I
I
don't
don't think so.
now, but
I think it's gonna beat the Marvels on opening weekend, and it's gonna beat the Marvels for the biggest drop off ever week to week.
Okay,
Only because of the time when it's coming out. There's nothing else in theaters right now.
that's true.
Like,
I'd rather go see
what are you
Napoleon.
gonna take your kids to watch? Napoleon?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna take your fake cat?
Yes, my fake De Niro. He'll be joining us.
But yeah,
He's
that's
coming
the
with
thing,
us on
buddy.
Saturday.
Like, there's no point in risking it on that night because theaters don't make a lot of money usually on the Thursday night.
no, I get it, but that's what I'm saying. It's never been a problem on my end, and this is actually a good confirmation of why it's bad. I mean, either way, you know me, I'm still gonna get the ticket, do my review, all that kind of stuff. But which I just got it. But like, I'm just looking at that, saying, "Ooh, that's not a good sign," because my theater's pretty much like, when it comes to like the big blockbusters, they're like, we need to pack the theaters, and even if we don't sell those tickets because they feel like it's an opportunity, unless they have concerns. Like prime example was when I saw Five Nights at Freddy's, it had tons of seats. And people were cosplaying and everything, but I didn't think that to expect that to have like a lot of seats and everything and be that big.
Five Nights at Freddy's is more of a niche type of movie,
but
right?
it did. But
most likely in your theater after that weekend, nobody watched it at all.
No, you're probably right. But I mean, they made a lot of money. There was a lot of people there that night, and it was pretty cool to see a lot of people there. People are cosplaying and everything. It's just like I said, the situation is mostly all the comic book, even video game movies have at least even if they do one theater, they're doing at least like 5 to 6 showings for 3 showings.
But like for the Marvels, you went to see the Marvels, right?
Yes. Yep.
How many people were in your theater?
Oh no, at Marvels, it was probably half packed.
And then how many shows were there that day?
Oh, as far as available,
yeah,
there was like 6 available.
And how many standard. In the times before, in the earlier times in the day, do you think anybody even showed up?
Well, no, you're probably right, but that's what I'm saying.
They were probably
would have had the theater to yourself.
Well, no, this might be the change now. Is what I'm saying. This might be the change that they're doing now.
Yeah. I think this is more of my point was, I don't think the reasoning behind this happening is Aquaman. I think the Marvels is the reason why theaters are getting scared now, because they're like, oh crap, nobody's coming to watch these movies.
Yeah,
that's true, but I mean at the same time, I guess we'll find out when Deadpool comes out about what the showing is going to be in that situation. You know,
that's why.
Yeah, but
June?
Deadpool will also be the only Marvel movie coming out that year.
True. So they're gonna.
I think that's the only Marvel or DC, isn't it?
No, there's one DC, Joker 2.
Joker 2,
There's 3 Sonys, 1 Marvel, and 1 DC.
So technically,
3 Sonys. There's Madam Web. There's
Craven, and Venom.
Venom 3's coming out?
Venom's coming out.
Venom's supposed to be coming out next year. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. But I'm a little bit scared. What's Venom 3 going to be about? That's kind of scary to me, honestly.
I don't know, because Venom 2 sucked.
Like what
Andrew
are they going to
Garfield
do?
returns.
And my favorite part is they just released this. Okay, so nobody even knew this. Like, obviously, you could look it up, but people are stupid. They just released that the writers for Madam Web are the same writers that wrote Morbius. All like
Morbius,
the same exact team of
Morbius.
Morbius?
Morbius, that's what you said. No,
that's what I said,
and
Morbius.
And they even made a joke online saying, "So are they going to start saying it's webbing time?" So I mean, I don't know if but I that does scare me because, like, yeah. Either way, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. That Madam Web trailer did not interest me. Craven the Hunter interested me.
It didn't interest you. It was like one of the worst trailers I've ever seen in my entire life ever.
Yeah.
Like literally in the history of me being alive.
Okay, well then I agree. It was boring. It was not interesting at all. Craven, though, on the other hand, was a fun trailer, and I'm pretty excited for that one.
So good. Your boy Will Smith.
Did he slap another guy at some award show? Slap-a-ho?
He apparently confirmed that he's going to be in this I Am Legend sequel with Michael B. Jordan.
Who asked for that?
Nobody. I didn't like the first movie.
I was sitting back watching I Am Legend like 100 times going, damn, I need a sequel.
I'm surprised you watched it 100 times. I'm surprised you admitted that you watched it 100 times.
No, I'm not admitting I'm watching 100 times. That's called sarcasm.
He just did, guys. Time. Everybody out there.
Clip it.
Okay, so I actually have maybe JD, you know the answers to this because I don't want to look it up. I'm too lazy. Zack Snyder officially bought the rights to Blood and Ashes, which is a storyline that he wants to make the 300 sequel. And he acknowledges that the last 300 is part of the storyline, so it will be the third movie. Is there 3 comics?
There is a graphic novel, yes.
But there's a follow-up to 300.
It has nothing to I don't think it has anything to do with 300. Zack Snyder was the one who wrote the comic sequel. It's an unofficial.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with
I didn't think 300.
Yeah, because I didn't think Frank Miller made a sequel to
No, Frank Miller only did the 300. But yeah, Zack Snyder, almost like a fan art he did of.
So the last one was a made up movie.
Yes. The sequel, the second sequel 300 was never a comic book.
Because I know he wrote that. He's on the writing credits, Zack Snyder.
Yes. Zack Snyder wrote these graphic novels himself.
Okay, so the movie Blood and Ashes, which he has the rights to now,
were his already to begin with.
Was his already, but he sold it to Warner Brothers, and then Warner Brothers owned it until they didn't make a movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody want this movie?
No.
I'm okay with the first 300. I never even saw the second 300, and I still don't want to because every time someone tells me it's horrible.
It's worth watching just for Eva Green.
Oh, really? Well, see, Sin City 2, like, here's my thing. I love Sin City.
Sin City 2 was pretty bad, too.
Okay, I'm getting into that, okay? The sequel to Sin City was not a good movie. The only thing that made me go and want to watch it was because of you-know-who. And honestly... Well, I'm not going to...
He's just in love with Bruce Willis, everyone.
Yeah.
It is. It's Bruce Willis. It's all the way. Anyway, die-hard fan. Anyway.
That was the pun of the day.
Oh, dear God.
Putty's puns. That's our new segment.
But yeah, no, but that was a bad movie. It was more just like, for me, eye candy. That was acceptable. 300, the sequel, that wasn't...
That's all 300 the sequel is.
That's pretty much what, and that's the reason why
300 the sequel falls into a very specific category with Sin City 2. Surprisingly, it's full of famous people, and it's not very good, and it's just a lot of hot ladies.
Well, that's like, what was that movie that that Frank Miller made that was really bad, and I never saw it though, but it had
Spirit.
Which
is also a very bad movie that's just full of hot ladies.
And Sam Jackson.
I mean, that's another hot lady in my opinion.
Let's bring back the Phantom, okay?
Yeah, because while we were talking, I looked it up. Zack Snyder regains the rights to Blood and Ashes.
Oh, okay. So it was incorrect in the article I read.
Yeah.
I
go to my comic book source.
Of the pulp characters. Putty's thinking about what that means. Of the pulp characters.
No, I know you.
Putty already yelled one out.
The Phantom. Yeah, I just said the Phantom. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Who would you want to have back? And Putty, you can tell us why the Phantom.
Well, no, Phantom was actually really fun because I remember reading the Sunday comics that had the Phantom and everything, like on Sunday mornings and everything. So it was exciting to see that. But the thing is like, I mean, really outside of stuff like Dick Tracy, I mean, I would love to see a remake of Dick Tracy.
That's what I was going to say. I'd love to see a modern take on Dick Tracy.
Because they like,
would you want it to be a gritty detective story, or would you like it to stay?
I want to stay. I want it to
a little bit of both. You could still do a gritty detective story and stay a little cartoonish.
I mean,
I feel like the
90s Dick Tracy was kind of
dark, very much like that.
It was, but actually, I feel like if you went something like Dark Knight, you know what I mean, with like Heath Ledger's Joker, but using that kind of like force field or forceness of like crazy weird characters, but use it in a real setting. Like you could have some of these guys have deformities and things like that. You know what I mean?
That you want the gangsters to go full Robert De Niro and Untouchables. I want his family dead. I want his house burnt to the ground.
No. But I mean, you see what I'm saying? They could really go for something like that in another world where then Dick Tracy, because I mean, it's kind of like the whole thing. Like, what was the name of that movie? It wasn't a good movie, but I liked the setting, and it was the one was black and white, and it was all based in like a different world where it was like they had like the blimps and everything, but it had like that very noir look to it. I can't think of the name of it.
Was it Valkyrie?
No, the one of Tomorrow.
Captain something in the world of
yes. Captain Spartacus.
It wasn't a good movie, but if you kind of go in that noir feeling with Dick Tracy and go vibrant colors with his yellows and all the characters, but still have that dark feeling.
What if you did it like Renaissance?
City, I feel like it would work.
And now I feel like saying that out loud, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Well, you guys can look it up later. It's a Daniel Craig noir movie.
Okay. I thought you were saying actual Renaissance art or Renaissance.
No. It's like a futuristic movie.
Caravaggio instead of.
Anyways,
Dick Tracy.
okay, I'll tell you mine, and I'm not going to pick Green Hornet, even though I want to. The Shadow. I think, and I like the other Shadow. Yeah. I mean, I like the Phantom too. I like Dick Tracy too.
Well, can we do one that's not like? What if it's from the Batman universe? What about the Gray Ghost? I think Gray Ghost would work as a movie.
That would be pretty cool. That would be cool as shit. What about the other guy? There's a guy who's like Shadow and Spirit. I'll never think of it.
There's everyone in
tell
Marvel
us about Grey Ghost.
Katie?
Judy?
What?
Tell us about Grey Ghost.
Oh, Grey Ghost is basically a kind of the inspiration to Batman in the Batman comic book world. Like he was this detective crime fighter guy who would conceal his identity, kind of like the Shadow, kind of like the Spirit. But he was the inspiration for Batman in a way to hide in the shadows, to not be seen, to travel at night. And I think, and portrayed by Adam West, of all people, in the cartoon series. So I think Grey Ghost could work as a kind of like what they did with Joker. Joker is kind of its own thing, but it has nothing to do with the Batman universe. I think they could do that with Grey Ghost.
What about not Flash Gordon? I mean, he is one. What about like Doc Savage? Aren't they making a Doc Savage movie?
I heard something about Doc Savage. Not a lot, but
you know what's funny? I have this open right now, and there's all these lists, and every single one of the lists has guess who's on it.
What?
The Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer, but that was
the Rocketeer's not an actual pulp character.
No, he was created by Disney.
Created by Disney in the 90s to make that movie.
But I can see why they do that because, for example,
don't remake the Rocketeer. The Rocketeer was good and highly
good. Jennifer Connelly,
highly underrated.
But let me ask you a question then. In that sense, or anything, because people see the Rocketeer like this is going past pulp characters, but I don't know why I was
even an Alan Quartermain movie could work.
No, take that.
But see, I'm thinking more of like the noir, gritty look to it. And I don't know if you guys seen this movie. I would love them to remake Dark World. I know it's not based on comic books or
Dark World. But so right after you let me say Jennifer Connelly, you brought up Dark World.
well, Dark World was already in my head when we were talking about earlier, and
Wait,
that really
is she Dark World or Dark City?
no. Is it Dark City or Dark World? I'm thinking the one that has all the bald guys and the guy that's lost
Dark
his memory
City.
and he's trying. Okay,
That's
yeah,
Dark
that's what I'm
City,
thinking.
yeah.
Dark City. Yeah, Dark City was such a great movie, but I feel
Yeah, I
like
think
City
it's
is
Thor.
good. That's Ewan McGregor, right?
no.
Dark City doesn't it have Ewan McGregor?
I think so.
Does,
JD,
really? I couldn't
JD,
remember.
open it up, JD. You have
Yeah,
a
Doing it
copy.
right now.
But anyway, Dark City was such a great movie, but I feel like
It was Ewan McGregor
Yeah, come on,
Oh,
get out of
okay.
my face with this.
No, I was talking about the main actor.
and
I don't
Jennifer
remember.
Connelly.
Yeah, yeah,
Connelly,
who-
and
Jennifer
William Hurt.
Connelly. Yeah. Jennifer Connelly's a
But
babe.
I'm talking about the main actor. What was the main actor? That was
John Hurt, isn't it?
William Hurt.
William Hurt.
yeah.
Kiefer
So what?
Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland. That's who it is. Kiefer Sutherland.
That's from yeah. But who was the other? Then who did what's his name play?
You're thinking of
in the-
Dark Man with Liam Neeson's.
Well, no, I was going to go in that a little bit. But what I'm saying, with Dark City, Ewan McGregor. What was the who did he play in that movie? I don't remember who he played.
Ewan McGregor. Who did he play in that movie? Ewan McGregor played.
Just read the name and let him figure it out.
Ewan McGregor was actually not in that movie.
I told you.
I swear Ewan McGregor's in it.
No.
Oh, maybe it's Kiefer Sutherland, and I'm just thinking.
Yeah,
Ewan
yeah.
McGregor.
Kiefer Sutherland is definitely in it. Yeah, but the Dark Man's another good example of another one that I would feel
Is
like
Ewan
a cult.
McGregor in Dark Man? Can you fact check that?
Doing it right now.
Well,
Probably
you
not.
brought up Dark Man, but no, there's a lot of those movies that are very niche that a lot of people don't know about. That I feel like nowadays, if they remade them, they could be big blockbusters because they were good.
No, but
movies.
Frances McDormand was in it.
Oh yes, Frances McDormand was in it. That's the love interest. You know what though? Jennifer Connelly.
Mm-hmm.
But
Agreed.
speaking of Jennifer Connelly, can we get Alita 2 already? Like, what's going on with this?
And can we get a new season of Snowpiercer?
No,
I
I've
like
never seen
Snowpiercer.
it, so I don't want to know about it.
I'm gonna go watch Labyrinth now.
You're a horrible person. I want to go watch Job Opportunities. What's it called? Is that what it's called? Can you look it up? Jennifer Connelly Opportunities.
Wait, is that the one? Is that the one where she's riding the horse?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Putty, you're sick.
Hey, that was those were the times when I was young and I'm sitting there going, "Wow, why do I like her so
Putty's
much?"
like, Putty's watching. He's like, she's so
The house
lucky
of
she gets to
sand
ride
and
that
fog.
horse. It's
I definitely was sitting there
opportunities. It's
going, "I
called
wish I
career
was."
opportunities.
I was definitely
opportunities,
sitting there
yeah.
going, "I wish I was that horse."
Listen, I got that Blu-ray and it was really hard to find a copy. It's actually a pretty decent movie, Career Opportunities. Underrated. Anyways, back to real
Right
life.
before she did The Rocketeer.
She did all those movies directly in a row because right after that she did Dark City as well.
Oh yeah, Dermot Mulroney was in that movie.
Dermot
That's when she was-
Mulroney.
Wasn't he the
Or
president in
Dermot-
Secret
Dermot-
Invasion?
Dermot
Yeah.
McDillon.
That was a
No,
weird
Dylan
choice.
McDermott Mulrooney.
And
Yeah,
and,
we're gonna
he,
do that
and he
episode
was the
for-
bad guy in
for that.
Scream. Spoilers.
Yes, he was. Yeah,
Let people get confused by that.
Dylan McDermott Mulrooney.
Dylan McDermott Mulrooney.
They
Too many
combined
people.
together. That's like
Ewan
that's like-
McGregor was probably in one of those movies.
Remember Wonder Twins, Carl? That's what they're thinking. They could do. Wonder
Okay, I
Twins
need you to
movie.
fact check this. This is the last thing for the show. Look up Ewan McGregor and find the earliest relevant movie he was in. So don't tell me about like Little Jimmy's from Ireland. Like I don't want to know about that.
Isn't he
movie.
Scottish?
Yeah, whatever. They're all the same.
Yeah, you tell an Irishman and a Scottishman that, and you're gonna get a fight.
Yeah,
Ewan
it's like
McGregory.
try to tell me the difference.
Ewan
One's
McGregory.
Scottish, one's Irish. Irish.
Let's not do accents. That's very highly offensive, sir.
Right?
Yeah, well, I'm white. Okay.
Okay. He was in Shallow Grave,
Okay.
and then his first big movie was Train Spotting.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that makes
That's like
sense,
late.
though.
That's like what, 98?
Train Spotting was 96. Yeah.
Okay.
He
Yeah,
was
that
in
was
Tales
my
from the
first
Crypt TV series, though.
Yeah,
Everyone
And
was
in an
Tales from the
episode,
Crypt
and an
TV series.
episode of ER.
Hey, everyone
But
was in
after-
ER.
But after that, Ewan McGregor did not have a major role until 1999 when he did episode 1.
Unfortunate.
Then he did Eye of the Beholder.
Actually, you know
Wonder
what?
how-
He probably made so much money from Star Wars. Good for him.
Yeah. And
I
then
wonder-
that's when then he did Moulin Rouge, Black Hawk Down.
I
what else did-
forgot he was in Black Hawk Down.
I just want to know how that
He was in
conversation went
Robots,
with George
The
Lucas-
Island.
Yeah, I know how it went. He's like, hey, we're going to make Jar Jar one of the characters.
No, I want to know what George Lucas was sitting there thinking when he's talking to Ewan McGregor, and he said to himself, "What was your last role?" Well, I was freaking out and see a baby crawling on the wall. Well, you know what? That's a little weird, but I got something even better for you. Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, they wanted him to play Jar
And
Jar
then he
Binks.
even says in the movie, "I see we picked up another pathetic life form."
Oh my gosh, Jar Jar Binks is offensive generally,
Yes.
just like generally, like not
Hey,
even
hey,
just racially, just
hey.
generally.
He was there for the kids.
He was offensive to my
What
eyes and my
kids?
ears.
Listen, I might be the only
There were some
person.
people gonna die.
I hate you. I might be the only person from that generation that was so excited to watch it and then watch it and was like, "This movie sucks." Like, I
As
don't
they
know
said in
anyone
Clerks,
else
the
my
pod race
age,
scene was kind of cool.
but I don't know anyone else my own age that thinks that movie's
See,
bad. They all think it's good.
No. Here's my thing. The thing with Phantom Menace was, at the time, especially what we have now, it is not a good movie. But at that time,
At the time, I walked out of the theater as like a 10-year-old being like, "What did I just watch?"
see. I'm gonna tell you why for me it was different. You have to understand, we played so many video games like KOTOR and all that, where you had some great.
KOTOR wasn't even out yet.
No, it's not. What am I thinking of?
KOTOR was
Anyway.
in the 2000s.
Yeah, KOTOR was in the 2000s, bud.
Okay. Then what am I thinking of? Either way,
The only thing
You're
out
probably
then was the
thinking
two Nintendo 64 games
The was it Shadow of the Empire?
Well, my point to the thing is like
and
when
the
it came
Rogue
to
one. What
when
was
it
that
came
one?
to like
Sorry.
when it came to like
Was Rogue
Jedi
Squadron out at
battles.
that time?
Yeah, I think so. Sorry, Putty.
Well,
I
you
don't want to
think-
hear you. That's why I'm
yeah.
talking.
Whatever. I'm still gonna talk.
Here we
Anyway,
go.
no, but with the original Star Wars movies, the lightsaber battles we had weren't as like overly dramatic. Like they were just more like standing. It was more like doing like the fencing. You know what I mean? It was fencing battles. When we got this one and we had like acrobatic battles, it was something that we never got to
This
see.
movie has one good lightsaber scene at the tail end of a 2.5-hour movie.
Well, no, but I get it. But like even like the pod
The
racer
best
scene, I
lightsaber
enjoyed that.
scene.
Yeah, but
That's
the pod
episode
racer
3
scene-
was one of the best ones.
No, episode 1 is the best lightsaber scene of all time.
Cause see, like, why does
Darth
number one
Maul?
like?
You're telling me that
Yeah.
Darth Maul scene is
No,
not
Darth Maul is pretty
amazing?
sweet. But
But see,
he was the
you're
best thing
talking-
about the prequels.
Yeah. Okay, tell
I
me,
loved-
buddy.
But I loved Yoda's fight scene in episode 2 as well.
I
don't know
hated
why
that
people
one.
don't like it. Really,
Yoda's
I
fight
loved
scene in
it.
episode 2 is good too, but nothing
No, I didn't like it
compares
because
to that.
Yoda can't walk. Then all of a sudden he pulls out these spinning, dancing. No, not believable.
Okay, so let's take believability aside. The scene looks really good.
Yeah,
That's not the point, though. The Darth Maul scene is the best scene, and I will not hear any slander about anything else. But the movie is still horseshit.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
There's a pod racing scene, and then an hour and a half later, there's a lightsaber scene. The rest
well,
of it
those
is
are the two scenes.
Gungans.
Well, that's what I'm
Gungan
saying.
nonsense.
That's I like the pod racing scene. I like the lightsaber scene, and
But that
made me
doesn't. That
happy.
2 scenes does not make a movie.
I
You know
didn't
who
say
else
it
were
did. I'm just saying I was
offensive?
happy.
Were
having a
those
Star Wars
the
movie.
Trade Federation guys too with their
Oh yeah, wobble. No.
I like the second one. I don't care.
But you know,
Really?
my
We all know how much I like politicking.
But
That's
my
true.
whole point to the thing is we just didn't have a Star Wars movie in a long time. It was nice to have a Star Wars movie,
Yeah,
even
you're
though
cute.
it wasn't the greatest.
See, where I'm the opposite. We didn't have a Star Wars movie in a long time, and then we were treated with this shit.
Hey, and in fairness, JD was alive during the first Star Wars movie.
Hey,
Technically, I
I
was
was
born.
alive during.
right
I
at the
was
time.
alive during the.
I said
last
alive.
one.
I said alive.
I was alive during the first one. I mean, the last
Yes,
one.
I was
Sorry,
born.
last
It was still in the
I was
theaters.
about to say, buddy, did you just like make that up in
Sorry.
your head? He's
No,
so
sorry, I
obsessed
was-
with
I was-
Star Wars,
I
he
was-
changed his
no.
birthday.
I no, I was there for the. I was awake for the last one.
You were awake.
I was alive for the. Oh God,
You're
I was alive for the last one, but I wasn't for the first
listen.
two.
I
But then
was
the re-release
there.
came out.
I was literally. I'm telling you this for a fact, and this is actual fact, and I'm not lying. I have proof. I was legitimately there when the original trilogy re-released
I was too. Yes.
on VHS.
Oh.
That was 1989.
Wait, are you talking? Are you talking about the
I
ones
was
where I had the half
legitimately.
faces?
Let me start again. Let me try again. I was legitimately there when the original trilogy re-released on VHS with the upgraded.
That's the
quality.
20th anniversary, 1997.
Is that
Yeah.
is that the one that had the half faces on the VHS? cassettes that had,
No,
like,
but
a
it, and
Vader,
it had
Yoda?
like,
No,
a
they
little
were
box.
they were black boxes with
Yeah.
the three. New Hope was green, Empire was purple, and Jedi was
and
red.
it was like
I
a
think.
So which-
it was like a square, a purple square around
So which
Darth
because there's-
Vader, Jabba, and somebody else.
And I don't remember that
Yeah.
one. The ones I remember was the ones that had the CBS logo on it. and
with the gold
then
box.
yeah, it was like a CBS logo.
That
It
was
like Fox
before
CBS.
those ones.
And then the next one I remember was the one
Those
where
were
they had
released
the half
after.
face.
Those were released at the 25th anniversary in 2003 or
The half
2002.
the half
Yeah.
face ones.
Yes,
Okay.
the half face. Yeah, you're right, actually.
Because the
Because
thing
then
is I
they
don't remember
tried
the
to
other ones.
emulate that when they did the DVD box set. If
For
you get
the-
the original Star Wars box set, it's that. It looks like that. But I bought the one that had all 6 movies in it.
And see, the CBS Fox ones, I had them. I remember those when I was a kid that my dad had them. And then they got lost. And then the really funny thing is when I went to Job Corps, they would rent out videos there. And I'd go and look, and they had all 3 of the original ones. And I tried to steal them, but they caught me and said, no, you got to return those. Fuck, I want to keep those so
I still have
badly.
mine.
The original
I
CBS
have my
Fox
I
ones?
have my ones somewhere, those black ones.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last thing I want to talk about, and then I don't want to talk about anything else. Oh,
Nothing?
anyways, actually, I want to talk about something else quickly. The whole Scream 7 debacle.
Oh boy,
I have no idea what's going on here.
everybody's pulling out.
That's
Okay,
what she said.
Oh, it was blurry. I was wondering why Putty kept doing
He goes, he didn't even want to talk about this.
that.
They pulled out.
Melissa, oh my gosh, what the hell's her name? Barrera?
Mm-hmm.
Backed out.
Did Wednesday pull
Or
out?
she got
too?
fired from Scream because of posting like news about the Palestine
Israeli
war and favoring just like pointing out that it's what's happening is unfair to the Palestinians. It wasn't even like negative to anybody.
Yeah.
And they said that she was supporting Hamas, and they fired her from the movie, like the co-lead. Okay. So then the next day, Jenna Ortega backed out because of scheduling conflicts with Wednesday, even though Wednesday is not even written yet, and neither is So
yeah, but I hate to say
scheduling conflicts.
I hate to say she probably just doesn't really care about that. Wednesday is her bread
I
and
don't
butter
know
now.
why you're making an excuse for something. Jenna Ortega quit. Okay.
Yeah.
There's rumors now that the brother and the sister, I don't remember their name. From Scream 6 and Scream 7. JD's on it right now.
I'm on it right now.
But their names have now been quietly erased off the offer sheets. So they're saying that they've also quit now in solidarity with Melissa. So now there's no cast remaining from that movie except for Courtney Cox,
Mason Gooding, and
gotcha.
Jasmine Savoy Brown. They were the twins.
Yeah. And then now they're going to pivot because they don't know what to do. And now, after treating Neve Campbell like she was a piece of garbage,
They're
are going to
trying
throw whatever amount of money she wants at her to get her back, to try and bring that storyline back, because they're worried now that Courtney Cox is going to also back out in solidarity with everybody. So the only way to keep her is to pay Neve Campbell what she wants, and the only way to keep the storyline going is to bring those two back. And now they're thinking, what can I do? They're going to link back all the way to Scream 3 and bring back the detective from Scream 3 and continue a storyline from Scream 3.
With Dermot Mulroney.
Yeah, Dermot Mulroney.
Bringing
It's
it
a full
all
circle.
back together.
Either way, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how
Eat
that's
all
gonna
rich.
be. 'Cause
No, he wasn't Dermot Mulroney.
No, Dermot Mulroney. No.
Dermot Mulroney's the one who died, and then that's the one that just happened.
The one that just happened. Yeah.
either way, I don't know. That again, that feels like it's about to be shovelware, since like if you're making a movie based on characters and not actual like like story driven content, it's like I feel like this is gonna hurt. Like I'm not going to see it for Neve Campbell. I'm going to see it for a Scream movie. Like you never went to I never went to see Freddy Krueger because of Roseanne Barr being in one of the movies. Like you don't. That's not a good example.
Okay, but look, I'm gonna spin this on you, and I actually had this conversation with somebody very recently. And someone who loves the franchise, and this is not even a knock on him. This is just my point.
And 5 was like a return to form.
Yeah, and 6 was great too. You said they're all good except 3, and I love 3, and we all know that Scream is like my favorite shit on earth. Okay, yeah. But anyways, said exactly what you said, Putty. I'm not here for whoever or whatever, and I'm like, you think you're not, until they make a movie without those characters that you don't remember. You in your head, you're not remembering how attached you are to these characters, and when they're not there, you're gonna be like, "What the hell am I watching?" Imagine if you went to watch Nightmare on Elm Street and Freddy Krueger was not Robert Englund. Oh, that happened and it sucked.
Yeah, well, no, that's the actor playing the monster. That's like watching Halloween.
But it
not
wasn't
having...
Freddy Krueger anymore because
No,
that
no,
guy wasn't there. Like
but-
Scream
but
wouldn't
again-
be Scream without
but
the
no.
characters.
But see, that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Neve Campbell, unless they turned her into the murderer, that would be one hell of a twist. That's more of Ghostface and the mystery behind Ghostface. Freddy Krueger, again, Robert Englund. The situation, like, let's look at Halloween. It doesn't matter who's behind the mask of Michael Myers, but taking Michael Myers out is what the situation is. Remember, they had good Michael Myers movies without having what's her name that were in the last ones, which weren't, some of those weren't good. So even having the cast,
How many of the best Halloween movies have Jamie Lee Curtis?
At least 3.
The top 3 probably.
But that's my point.
Top
You can
4
have-
actually,
you
maybe
can have
Halloween
a-
H2O.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have them without Neve Campbell, and
We
still
did
make
have
a
it
good...
and it was good, but it still had Courtney Cox and it still had ties to the original story. It
Yeah.
also had Hayden Panettiere, who's from the Scream 4.
Okay, well, fine. Bring back what's his name? Back from the dead, and freaking I
Matthew
can't think of his
Lillard?
name. Yeah, bring
Ulrich?
him back from that. Yeah, he
Matthew
didn't die.
Lillard, shout out to Matthew Lillard, was like the best part of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, he's amazing. I can't wait to see him return as that.
But yeah, I just, it's not to say what you're saying is wrong. I just wanted to get my point across on it. I think if you didn't have anyone from the previous 6 movies in this, you would feel like something was wrong with it. Because Scream is not...
It's a connected universe.
This is the last thing I'll say about it, and then I'll let you say whatever you want, buddy.
Okay.
You go to Halloween for Michael Myers. You go to Nightmare for Freddy. You go to Friday for Jason. You come to Scream not for Ghostface. You come for the rest of the characters, and Ghostface is part of it. Why? Because every time Ghostface is someone different.
It's a copycat
The mystery,
killer. Yeah.
the reason you enjoy the mystery building is because you care about the characters in the movie. The reason you don't care about the characters in those other movies is because they're always different. So you're caring about the killer.
The focus is not Ghostface, it's everyone else in the Scream
like,
series.
And that's like kind of the juxtaposition of Scream, is that it's flipping the entire genre on it. Scream has changed the entire way that slashers work, that now it has its own tropes that other movies follow. Because it started out as making fun of tropes, right? And like turning the whole genre on its head to make you not care about the killer.
The rules to survive a horror movie, right?
Yeah, but okay.
But let's put it this way. I get that. But see, here's my thing. Bringing in Neve Campbell or Courtney Cox, cool. But you're throwing so much money on it that you're basically going around the character that it's like it's one of those things where it's like, how can she keep going through this when it's something that the mystery itself, like you said, is more important than the thing. So what you can do in that situation is, again, you can still have family. You can make her have an appearance, not at too much cost, or even with Courtney Cox. You can even have it to where her and Dooley or Dudley, I can't remember his name now.
You're thinking from Scary Movie, Doofy.
No, I didn't say Doofy. I'm talking about his. Yeah, I'm messing Doofy up. But I'm referring to, yeah. But they could have had a kid together, which that didn't work. But my point is, there could have been some child involved that moves the story along and still has a connected tissue.
In my opinion, that's where it gets too much like those other dumb slashers. But right now, for you to know what you're saying, Neve Campbell does have kids in the new movies.
Oh yeah, but okay. My point to the whole thing is that it's what's made the Scream movie so good is the mystery behind the killer, because sometimes even the killer's right there with you as your friend or as your comrade. And that's what's made Scream so good. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna put it this way. I would love for Scream to have a reboot. And I know that sounds horrible to say, but listen to why I say that. If we were to do the same thing they did with the first Scream and really turn it on its head, and maybe change in the Ghostface character, which that I don't think they should, but let's just say they use something else. That mystery from the first movie is what made it great. Give us more characters that we can fall in love with in the movie, and even have the tropes.
The only way they can
that's why you just left.
Yeah. See, going back to what Putty's saying though, the only way they can reboot Scream is if it's in a complete, you can't retell the first story. Don't retell the first story.
No. That's
You
not what
have
I'm
to do it
referring.
in a different town, different characters, different
Right.
story altogether.
That's what I'm referring to. That here's
Like
the reason why
Scream
I say that.
This
Reborn
is
or
what you
something.
do. Listen
no,
to me
hold on.
because I'm right. You're not right.
Listen to Ignacio.
Okay, go, Putty. Finish what you're saying.
We have so many other types of genre movies when it comes to horror films. Okay, you could do the same thing like they did with Saw and have a totally different story that goes in that Scream element with a killer, but maybe have other motives now for why he does it and make
want
the
to play a
appeal of
game?
horror movie. No, it's his
Murder
appeal to
Grandpa.
horror movies. It's where he's appeals to horror movies again. You know what I mean? So it would still be doing the same thing Scream does, but more he's like, oh, I love freaking watching Saw, and when the way he tortures people, and then we find out this is the same guy that's doing it. So you think this guy's
So
the
the
one that's
exact
the
same
killer.
thing.
But see, what I'm saying is the reason I feel like it would work now to do something but even still set in the same world, is because there's so many different horror movies now that you have a newer audience that deals with horror movies, like ARGs online and like the whole old video footage format. You know what I mean? If they were using that as a format to bring in a new audience in the Scream, then they bring in the killer. I think it would.
I want a Saw prequel where Kevin McAllister is
I like
Jigsaw.
that idea.
Okay, this is what
But-
I want. And I, as a fan, as a mega fan, I'm the one you're selling to. So this is what you should do. And when I finish saying this, you're going to be like, oh, yes, that completely makes sense. You've established the world right now. You come back in this movie, okay? Don't mention it. I mean, if they come back for this movie, that's fine. But if they don't, this is the direction I go. I bring back Neve Campbell. I bring back Courtney Cox. I kill both of them off. I don't say anything about those other girls, except that maybe they've been moved into hiding. So if you need them to come back when they're like both like real life, like 40 years old and do like Scream 10, you have it. You keep that. You can either you continue on the next movie after that with Kirby, or you don't have to. You can keep Kirby around for when you need Kirby. Okay. You move into the next movies completely all new characters, but they live in the universe where all the events of Scream have happened. They're just not people related to the situation anymore.
That's what I was saying.
Going down
Unrelated.
the line, you go down the line, you get to like I said, eventually maybe Scream 10 or Scream 8, you bring Kirby back for one movie, or you bring those girls back for another movie. Don't all of a sudden you get to Scream 12. Oh yeah, don't forget Neve Campbell had kids the whole time. Now they're part of it and it's coming back for them. Or you do a Red Letter Media said, and you take a movie, one of them, make the whole movie happen. And then at the very end of the movie, it pull out and you're in a theater and it was people watching the Stab movie the whole time, and then like a Scream guy comes in and kills them, and then the movie ends.
Okay,
and it leads into a sequel.
So you actually, I was about to say, because I Stab was exactly my next launching point. Think of a world like this, where Stab has now become a central part of movies, but Stab has now become a different movie, and all other movies have extended from Stab, which means they have their own Saw movie franchise out there. They have their own Gore Grudge movies out there, and that's where they can start saying, "Oh, I hate how the Stab trope and the Buzzsaw movies are doing this, and it's so stupid."
Buzzsaw's evil Buzz Lightyear.
Nice.
Yeah, Buzzsaw is their version of Saw. You know what I mean? But my point is like, they can make jokes on the whole new franchise, but still have Stab in that world and say Stab's just gone in another direction that doesn't make sense.
Stabbing.
You know, can we go back to the traditional ways of what Stab was?
Stabbing Boy with Chris Elliott.
But you see where I'm going with this? I'm saying they would still be in the same world, but you would be building off a new story that could actually have new characters, even maybe a new monster in the thing. You know what I mean? Because they're like, we're bored with Stab, let's do something different, you know? And that would still pick up, because they could even use that and maybe even have different costumes come in later, you know what I mean? In a Halloween world or something like that, where like everyone's dressing up and everyone thinks, oh, the Ghostface killer is the one that's killing them, when they find out later, oh, it was just that character was in the wrong place at the wrong time and made him look like the killer. We come to find out this one that was dressed up as freaking E.T. was the killer. It would be one hell of a twist. But I'm just saying, like, if it could be like a Jigsaw type movie with, like, I'm just saying a random character.
His joke was so good. Where were you?
But no,
Anyways,
I get it.
Putty, you have a good idea, and it continues off my idea, so that makes two good ideas to one idea. I'm going to end this with I'm going to say a thing, and I'm going to ask a question before I say a thing. The Minecraft movie, does anybody care?
No.
What?
Okay.
Is it live action or animated?
I don't know, but it has Jason Momoa. It has. Do you not know about this?
No, I do not. And if it's
Yeah.
animated, it's probably if it
They
does
just
it in
announced
this,
somebody else too, besides Jason Momoa.
I'm gonna say this: if they do it like the Lego Movie, then it could be good. That's all I'm gonna say. That a Lego
Jason
Movie
Momoa,
is
Danielle Brooks, and then there was another like popular female character, like very famous actress attached to it. I can't remember who it was.
I think
Anyways,
Pedro Pascal's attached to it too.
yeah, shout out to Pedro
if
Pascal.
they could do it like the Lego Movie, then yeah. But
Oh,
the problem
Pedro
is there's so much
Pascal is
more.
gonna be
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. No,
That's
actually,
good. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Let's just keep that.
But I will
Listen,
say
and
this.
go, hurry up and say this.
I was gonna say
You're
the
cutting me
Minecraft
off in
thing,
my most important thing.
Minecraft has its own lore, and I'm wondering if they're going to use that. That's another thing I'm
Of
curious
course they
about,
are.
so. Okay.
I'm still waiting on Borderlands.
Anyways, back to my very important, favorite, very
Right?
super
Whatever happened to
important
that?
thing that they're both cutting me off for. When you have free time in your life, make sure to hug the people you love and watch Cabin Boy, starring Chris
I missed-
Elliott.
Such a great movie.
The greatest movie
best,
ever made.
best scene, David Letterman.
And Captain Ron.
And Captain Ron. Yeah, okay. But if you're gonna watch Captain Ron, you might as well watch Summer Rental as well.
But if you watch
Yes.
Cabin Boy, you just have to rewatch the David
Canadian
Letterman
Bacon.
Best scene
If
ever.
you're gonna watch Canadian Bacon, then you might as well watch Armed and Dangerous.
Then you
And
might as well
Spies
watch
Like Us.
Strange Brew. Watch
Okay,
Strange
we
Brew.
said too many things. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Go check out their stuff. 97.9% of you are not subscribed, and 100% of you have not made it this far. Thank you.
Dick off, eh?
Whoa.